If you still want to play Monopoly after this video, go directly to jail and do not pass go. All right, so I do have a little bit of a preamble here before we get started. If you want to just skip to the video, the top 5, there's timestamps down below in my very normal, quirky manner. So I've been reading a book on Spotify, doing an audiobook called The Monopolists, by recommendation by my good friend Kenan over on Instagram, Punchboard Cathedral, doing a little bit of a board game book club thing over there. And I've slowly been getting through it, but I've been really enjoying it and surprisingly learning so much about like American history and capitalism and American business, as well as the origin of probably the most popular board game of all time. When I tell people I'm a board gamer, they're like Monopoly? That still happens to this day, less so, but it still does happen. YouTube channel called Extra Credits did a really quick, like 9-minute video on the history of it. If you don't want to read a book, I'll link that in the description. But the TLDR of what I've learned so far is that the game was originally called the Landlord's Game, designed by a woman named Liz McGee, which was basically unheard of in the early 1900s, and eventually the idea was stolen by the Parker brothers, who made a boatload of money off it for decades to come. And the biggest irony of it is that she made this game as a complete social commentary against capitalism. She was very progressive, especially for the time. And it's just so interesting to hear that. So I've been really loving this book, and that's what kind of got me wanting to make a video about Monopoly. But why is Monopoly such a hated game by modern gamers? You go on BGG, it's completely hated. It's got 3 big problems. I want to actually explain this for you really quickly. Number 1 is just, it's a luck fest. Roll and move. You are rolling a dice to land wherever and buy whatever's there, grabbing cards off the top of the deck. There's not a lot of agency. And again, I'll stop by saying I am talking about the way that we all played this growing up, which is the second piece, which are the house rules. This is one of the only games that has canonized house rules. And even on the BGG description on the Monopoly modern rule book, they try to say these are the real rules. Don't play with the house rules. That's why people hate the game, because they're playing with house rules. But me and my little sisters, we played this a lot from my memory, and we'd put all the money on free parking, but having all that money keeps people alive longer. When you get that, it kind of gives you an influx of cash, which makes the game go longer. And we never once played with an auction, which kind of is fascinating to me. I kind of want to play it. How the real rules of Monopoly goes is if you land on a property and do not purchase it, you are supposed to put it up for auction. Not once in my entire life have I ever done that. Maybe you feel the same. Comment below if you played the game correctly. Luck and house rules. And number 3 was player elimination, which again goes along with the game being really long. But if you got knocked out, if you went bankrupt, you're just sitting there. There is a place for player elimination. Modern games like King of Tokyo, I think, it's fine, it feels fast, it feels good, but being knocked out of a game and sitting there for a half hour to an hour is just kind of unfortunate, and people don't like that. So the 5 games I have selected today all have something in common with Monopoly. Some sort of money or currency involved, and it should be like a family could sit down and play this. There's no solo games or no really, really heavy games. So let's get to the 5. I've talked enough. Here we go. Number 5 for me is a yellow game here called Bonanza. Kind of a silly one. This has been around for 25 years. This is not brand new. It is Uwe Rosenberg's, I think, first big hit. And you are playing it as a bean farmer in this game. It's a mostly card game. You've got a little field thing that you can have in front of you, especially with this newer version. It goes up to 7 players. And I think that is a big piece here, is that you can all be playing this game. And there's a negotiation aspect. And negotiation is something I don't necessarily love in games, but for whatever reason, Bonanza does it right. It feels right to me. So on your turn, you have to play down a bean, put it in your farm, and you're trying to collect sets of them. Very similar to how you're trying to get all 3 properties in Monopoly. What happens is 2 cards come out in the market, and those must be planted somewhere. So you can plant them, and you might have to harvest one of your 2 fields, or you can trade them away. And so you're paying attention on other people's turns. And you really are only going hard for an offering card from your hand to trade if you have a vested interest in the red bean that comes out. What I love about the game, and I think is great for families and introducing people, and I've talked about this in many other videos when I talk about Bonanza, is that it teaches that supply and demand, like the value of cards. The red bean, there are only 8 of them, so it takes less red beans to earn a coin when you harvest it. Whereas the wax beans, there are 22, so it takes more to earn coins, so they're just inherently less valuable. And so maybe you say, hey, I need you to trade me 2 wax beans if you want one of these red beans. That simple thing is so great. I have not had a bad play of this. I've taught this to my parents. I've played this at a con. I love Bonanza. I know some folks who it doesn't hit for, but in my personal experience, it has been just a great money trading, wacky theme, wacky art game that I think is a much better play than Monopoly. Number 4 is a game I've been talking about a lot lately. If you watch my mid-year board game tag, this has been my my gateway game, my reliable introductory game for all of 2025, and that is For Sale. So check this one out. I have the travel edition. It's nice and small and beautiful, I think, and I think it's just the right size. There's a couple other versions, bigger ones. There's also one with cars in it that Paul Solomon says is really good, so check that one out, called Autorama. For Sale is a Stefan Dora design, 3 to 6 players, and I have put in some fancy little mini poker chips in mine. So I'll, if you're seeing pictures, that's kind of how mine is. But it is a 2-phase game. Phase 1, you are buying property, just like in Monopoly, but that's just an entire phase. You're buying property. They have values from 1 to 30, 1 being a cardboard box, 30 being a space station. So it's pretty clear to see, the values of those houses. You're going to be auctioning and bidding on them with the coins that everybody starts with the same amount of money, also just like Monopoly. And you just take turns bidding, and whoever passes is going to have to take the lowest number. So you might just want to be paying money to just stay in and not have to take that cardboard box or the manhole cover or whatever. And then you do that until everybody has the same amount of cards in the hand, until that deck is gone. And in phase 2, these currency card comes out from 0 to 15. There are no 1s, but there are 2 of every other number. And you're going to it becomes a hand management game. You pick a card and simultaneously reveal it. And whoever put the highest number sells it for the highest currency that's out there available in the market, and the lowest one there. So there's luck to it, but there's just a little more agency. And this game has just gone over so well with everyone that I've taught it to. Very, very straightforward. It doesn't have the big board presence like some of the other games on my list here. In terms of travel, can play with anybody. It's got the houses and the property and the money. It really is really tough to beat. And it is an actual auction bidding game that people play the proper way, unlike Monopoly with me growing up. So For Sale is my number 4. All right, my number 3 is the biggest game and honestly the most complicated game, but I really think it fits this, and that is Pan Am. So I'm just gonna show you this beautiful game, and then I'm gonna put it back because this gap is triggering me. I know some of you are already typing the comment, but I'm gonna put it back, don't worry. Pan Am is a 2 to 4 player game, plays in about an hour, I would say, especially 4 player, definitely about an hour. And it is based on the golden age of travel when Pan Am was the monopoly company. And so you're all playing as these smaller airlines, and your goal is to actually get bought out by Pan Am and earn stock in the game. So there's currency, that's just money that you spend, but the victory points is stock in the big monopoly company. It is the most like Monopoly in that it has this big central board that we're all interacting with. There's no dice, there's not a ton of luck. There's 2 decks that you can draw from. There is a deck that kind of feels like the community chest or whatever it is in Monopoly that you draw from, and it could be a really good card for you, could be okay for you. But this game has auction and bidding combined with worker placement, which I really think is clever, where you place this pawn out on the airport track, for example, and I'm saying I'm gonna spend $2. That's what's printed on the track. If someone else comes and places it on the 4, they bump that worker back to you, and they've basically said they're paying for 4. But when it comes back to you, you have another worker to play with, and you keep going until everybody has completely placed out their engineers, is what they're called. 2 of the tracks, one that claims plane routes and one that claims the directive card, those don't bump people. So there's definitely a way for everyone to get out there. Even if it takes a few bumps, that will be the round. And then you trigger them from A through E. It's very, very straightforward how things go. Again, there's some complication in how you get to buy these routes, but it is a really good game that has that feel of a classic game and has that classic era feel, but it is a game I would just play. If someone was putting these two out on the table, I would throw Monopoly in the trash. I'd burn it. Like I would play Pan Am every time. It is one of my favorite games. I do think it is a little underrated by the gamer community, but if you are sitting here watching this like, I've only played Monopoly, like I think you should give Pan Am a try. It is a very cool game. It is a very unique game that I thoroughly enjoy. Pan Am. All right, number 2 might seem like a cheat, and this is the smallest on here, but it is Monopoly Deal. This is a card version of Monopoly, and it is just better. I would rather play this because, again, it's 15 minutes maybe. I think it plays 2 to 5 players, this version, and you are having the same similar properties. You know, you've got Park Place and you've got Marvin Gardens and all those ones in front of you. You're trying to collect 3 sets, and every turn you draw some cards, and you get to play up to 3. And so you'll either play them as properties or play down some money in your bank so that you can pay rent. And there's some action cards that might just let you draw cards or it's your birthday and everybody has to pay you. It's got a lot of take that, just like the old Monopoly, but it is just so fast. I mean, even on the thing, it says swap, steal, and scheme. It's got the take that, it's got the meanness, which again, I think if you like Monopoly, you probably like seeing your friends and family suffer by going bankrupt. And in this game, you just get to do it so much faster. It just, if you are on the bad end or on the wrong side of the take that, it just doesn't feel as bad because it's so fast. And I've been waiting to this video until I played this, and now my wife and I have been playing this a lot, just 2-player, like we travel with it. It's great. Monopoly Deal. I do like this version. There's some other ones, but I like the like graphic design on this is a lot cleaner on the newer. I think this is like this is the 2024 version. So Monopoly Deal, you can find it at Walmart, Target, Amazon, whatever. Check this one out. It really is better. And number 1 is a game I've been talking about forever. It is one of my staples in my group. I do not own it because my buddies, the dads, like several of them have it. It is called Lords of Vegas, and this is a big event game. Like we play this 3 to 4 times a year, and it's so much fun. It has all of the big property building that Monopoly has, but it adds a bunch of dice in a very fun way. The pips of the dice are going to dictate how many points and money you get when a certain casino type flips. There's like 6 different casino types. They flip over. It's someone's turn. They can choose to build up their casino, to change the color of their casino, to expand the casino, as long as they own it. So if they don't own it, they might have to pay a bunch of money to try to re-roll the dice and claim control of that casino. And there's a nice little catch-up mechanism. If you get the deluxe version, please do check out like the deluxe stuff. You want to get those poker chips. You've got to get the deluxe wooden components. You've got to try out the Underworld expansion if you can get your hands on it. There's an incredible briefcase out there that my buddy Phil has that feels just so Vegas-y without all the cigarette smoke. And also their most recent Kickstarter had the Americana expansion, which added a bunch of other US cities that changed up the gameplay and the maps and the strategy. For example, the Reno map is only meant for 2 or 3 players, and it's it's much tighter, but it still feels like the same game. This game is always fun. It is super interactive. It's a big event game, and it will always be a game I am looking to play. And it is the game that is number 1 to recommend to you to replace Monopoly, Lords of Vegas. Quickly before we go, I do have a few honorable mentions, games that I have not played, but I think would be good options as well. Number 1 is Power Grid. This is kind of the classic Monopoly killer that people have recommended. Another one is Raccoon Tycoon. This one looks really cute and has money and barons and everything that looks like it would really fit the bill. Number 3 is River of Gold. This was kind of a 2024 darling that has some sort of mechanic that's similar to the rent in Monopoly. If you've played that, comment below. Let me know if I'm right or wrong about that. And the 4th one is one in my collection called Cover Your Assets, a small box card game from Grandpa Beck's Games that all has to do with money and keeping it protected and a little bit of take that, which is right up my alley and feels like it would fit perfectly. I just haven't played it yet. So, what did I miss? If there's any games that you think are good Monopoly replacements. Comment them below. I'm sure new folks are going to check them out. Let's talk about that down below. Also, if you're new here, consider subscribing. It's completely free and really helps out the channel, helps us get discovered. I'm really trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Also, over on Patreon, still making consistent, steady content every month for the Pip Crew. Such an awesome little group of people. It's very special to have you over there. So check that out if that's something you might be interested in. Otherwise, I've got more content coming for you, so be prepared. Thanks again, and I will see you in the next one.